welcome back. As you can see, we are not in my normal doll room today. We are actually on the road. Tony is very graciously driving today.
Oh.
That was really unnecessary, but I guess that's the closest he can get to a hello with a breakfast sandwich in his mouth. We are in the car because we're actually on the way to a doll convention, which is super, super exciting. I've never actually been to a doll convention. It's not that I haven't wanted to. I've just either always missed the date and like forgotten when it was supposed to be and it's been too late, or I haven't had like the funds or something. So today's gonna be the first time. I'm very, very excited to be able to go and explore and see what it's like and what all is there. I know there's gonna be probably a ton of Barbie just because I always expect to see like a lot of Barbie in any secondhand setting. I'm hoping to maybe find some Ever After High dolls, or maybe if I get really, really lucky, some older Bratz dolls for a semi-reasonable price. But mostly I'm just really excited to explore and like see what's going on. So I figured it would be fun to take you guys along with me. As usual, if you do find yourself enjoying the video as we go through, if you could give it a like, that's very helpful to me. And then if you're new here and you enjoy your time, definitely subscribe so you can see more. But yeah, I guess I will come back with you guys when we get to the expo.
So from here on out, it is just going to be a voiceover for two reasons. One, I have so much anxiety in any social situation, but especially in a crowd. So I didn't really want to be like talking to the camera while I was going through the expo, but also there were so many people there that like it was kind of noisy, so it wasn't really practical to talk while filming. But here, me and Tony are showing off our little entry bracelets. And we did get there slightly early, but I thought this was so cute. As we were waiting in line outside, they had a couple of little like doll cars driving by. It was so precious. They did have a couple of rooms, but this was like the main room, so I thought this would be a good kind of entry shot for you guys. I do also need to say I'm going to be having to like use a lot of clips multiple times over as I'm talking, because I was just filming it in short little bursts because I really didn't want to get anybody's faces in there, because like I don't want to be filming people without them knowing. So I was like filming itty bitty bursts where I could just get images of the dolls, so I'm sorry if some of the footage is repetitive. Right when we walked in, I did see this table of Barbie and Lala Loopsy that were actually on sale. Sadly, nothing that I like was super obsessed with, but it was cool to see. This was another of the first tables that we saw, and immediately I realized this experience was going to be overwhelming in like the best possible sort of way, just because there was so much to look at and so many people there. It was a lot, but like it was a very fun lot, you know? Here we came across a table that had a lot of loose Monster High dolls. Nothing that I was like super interested in. There was another table that I didn't get any footage of that also had loose Monster High dolls, but they were all displayed on stands. And me and Tony were in line right when this convention opened. Like we were there, we were ready, but even so, we were not like the first in line. So before we could even get to that table, someone had literally bought every single Monster High doll they had. I saw them like packing it into a bin, which like good for them, but also I definitely saw some that I was maybe in a position where I would have considered them if I had the opportunity to, but that's just how it is, you know, it happens. And here we're starting to see some more Barbies here. I know there's still some other dolls mixed in, but like there's a little, you know, Barbie theme going on with this chunk of video. I did think this guy was really, really cool. I don't know what like line he's from or what his name is. He was pretty sick. I don't always go for Kens, but I do think he's like one of the better designed ones. These were out of my price range, so honestly I wasn't looking too closely at like brands or anything. I want to say this was like an Integrity Toys doll that I'm focused in on, and I think there were some more on this table, but I thought she was really fun. Y'all know I love me a good mermaid, so I had to point this one out. She was beautiful, but I just don't know if I wanted to like spend that much on one doll. The seller had a ton of really cool Barbies though, like very impressive display in general. And then we've got some more Barbies just like kind of chilling here, some other dolls coming up. I did spot some Bratz on this display, but they were just a little bit pricey for me. I know that Bratz in general are really expensive, but like I just was not feeling it. I think this one was like, yeah, $225. So a little bit much for me. I didn't get a chance to grab any footage of it because it was literally right when we first walked in, but there was a whole table full of Bratz, which was like Probably the most that I saw of Bratz at all in this show was like the one dedicated table, but they were all also really expensive. I just didn't want to film it because I didn't want to like, block everybody who was trying to get in because it was right at the entryway. And this was the same seller. They definitely had the most dolls that like were brands that I recognize. I'm sure there were a lot of other brands there that I'm just less familiar with, but they had that one Ever After High doll that I was like lightly considering. She's one of my favorite Cerise dolls, but I still just really hate the gingham print, so I didn't end up grabbing her. And they also had a decent chunk of like Monster High dolls, but in general, I'm kind of buying fewer Monster High dolls, at least from Gen 1, just because there are so many new ones that are coming out that I'm excited about, and the old ones have so much glue and like I have to put so much time into fixing them up, so didn't get any of those. At this point, I did grab something, though. I'll show you in a little bit. Tony was very chivalrously carrying my bag for me. And as you'll see in a moment when I like reveal what it was, the thing in the bag did take up like most of my budget, so it was the only thing I got. So this is the last clip that I have. But I wanted to shout out this seller. I should have like taken the time to get their name or something. I wasn't thinking about it in the moment. I honestly was like a little bit overwhelmed by everything that was going on, but they had a couple of Monster High customs, which I thought was really, really cool to see. Just like, I feel like at a doll convention, I was expecting more of the mass-produced dolls, and like, we did see obviously a lot of that, but it was super cool to spot some customs out there too.
Okay, so we've just gotten home from the convention. I was gonna film like the wrap up in the car, but it started raining while we were in there, and it was raining real heavy, so I was like scrambling to not get anything wet, and then also it was very loud. Anyway, so we are in the doll room now, here to talk about kind of like my final thoughts, I guess, and also show you what I got. In general, there were a lot more Barbies than even I expected. I know I said at the beginning that I was like expecting mostly Barbie, but it was overwhelmingly Barbie. Like, there was just so much and so little of other brands. I know like you never know what you're going to be getting into when you go to a convention like that, so it just kind of is what it is. So I didn't find any Bratz for like reasonable price or any of the Ever After High dolls that I wanted, but I did get one thing, which is like fewer things than I expected to get, but it was one expensive thing and one that I'm very excited about. So let me flip you guys around real quick. Here is my little baggie, and I'm just gonna like casually punt it off of the table. If you guys know like what this is from the pictures alone, kudos to you. I didn't really expect to get this today, but I saw it and it was $175, which is a lot, but I feel like that's a pretty okay price for this set. This is the Barbie Faraway Forest wedding set. I'm so excited to have these dolls. A long time ago when I did my video about my like secondhand doll wish list, I did feature these on there, so it was really, really exciting to see them. I did go into the expo with like a list of dolls in my head that if I saw them, I would immediately purchase them. And these weren't one of them. I didn't find any of the dolls that I was like ready to at the drop of a hat purchase, but I am really glad that like I ended up finding these. Just, they're so pretty. I love how they match. This is one of the only sets like this where I still like the Ken. Usually I like the Barbie, but I'm not really a fan of the Ken. And I like both of them. So I'm not going to unbox them in this video. I'm going to save that for another video because I want this to be more about the convention itself than like the dolls. But yeah, this was, like I said, less than I expected to be taking home, but I'm really, really happy to be able to have these and add them to the collection. I'm super excited to get into them. So definitely this was still a fun experience. I'm still really glad I went. And it was really cool to just like walk around and experience a doll convention like that, you know? I'm gonna turn you around real quick so I'm like talking to you because I just feel weird talking to y'all. Just looking at this, like, I feel like I should be looking you in the eyes. Anyway, though, yes, I'm on the ground. But it was kind of cool to be in a room full of people who are also doll fans, just because I'm sure a lot of you guys understand the feeling of other people not getting why you collect dolls or thinking that it's a bit childish. And I don't have like too many instances in my like history that I can think of where it's been a really, really negative experience, but there are a lot of times where you'll encounter people in like a Target or a Walmart and they'll realize that you're buying dolls for yourself and they kind of look at you funny. So it was really cool to be filled or like be in a room full of people who also are there buying dolls for themselves and who also love to collect. It was just kind of a fun community experience, and like I'm glad that I have that life experience now. So yeah, that is gonna be it for today. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was definitely different from my normal, but like I hope that was fun for y'all. I do have, as always, my Instagram, TikTok, and then my Amazon wish list in the description down below, so if you guys want to support me in other ways, you can check those out. But yeah, I hope you had fun coming along today. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye guys.